they don't know everything about me. They don't really, they can't say they know me. Would you say it
In that,
applies to them?
some people will say that, and some people will say, "Oh, I know him, or I know her." But it also depends on the level of understanding you have with that person. It might be your spouse, it might be your brother, it might be your dad, it might be your mom. It depends how when you divulge things or when you give out information, the way they perceive it, the perception, how they see it, and how they criticize, how they judge, and steps they take towards what you have divulged them. For example, if you look at a mother, if I mean a mom now, when a child tells a mom, "Look, mom, this is what I've done." Some mom will say, "Oh, why have you done this?" Then they'll go into that protective move and say, "Oh, how do we get out of here?" But some people just go, "Get away from me. I don't want to have anything to do with you." So next time, if you're in such a situation, will you go to that person or go to the other one? Will you come out to this person and say, if I come out to this person is going to come out and say, okay, how do we rectify this situation? How do we go forward? Rather than go to somebody else and just say, no, get away from me. No, 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 I don't want to have anything to do with you. So those are the things that make us get to divulge more information and have more trust with people. The understanding we have of those people and the way those people, their perception of who we are and what we have done. So that those are the things that that guides or go around things like that that makes you say, okay, I know him. For
Yeah.
example, my dad would tell me, I tell him everything, even when I've killed someone. I'll tell him. If he says, if he just says, Femi, tell me what it is. I just say, this is what I've done because I know him. He's an understanding man. He understands and he knows people can make mistake. And the only way forward is to rectify it. I remember when I was in school and I got not expelled, but I got like an exclusion from school, which wasn't my fault anyway. So I got home and my dad said, what happened? Tell me what's happened. And I said, this and this and this and this is what's happened. And he never scolded me because he knows I'm going to tell him the truth at every point in time because I know he will never judge me. And if he ever scolds me, I know I am on the wrong. So I'll tell him the way it
Mm.
is. Oh, I've done this. Is a mistake. Is a blunder. It's not going to happen again. Do you get? So it depends on the understanding you have with such people. Such people,
Yeah.
when you
Yeah.
even tell them the truth, you are in big mess. You are in big because we are human beings. So
Mm.
now, if you tell them the truth and you get castigated and you get in trouble, next time do you want to tell them the truth? You'll be like,
Mm.
oh, what do I expect now? What do I expect now? What do I do now? That's when you now become diplomatic in the things you say. You now quote it in such a way, you know what I mean? You craft it, you carve it,
Yeah.
because they're going to get hurt when you tell them the truth. But it shouldn't be. When you tell people the truth, they should accept it. But not
Mm.
everyone will accept the truth. So those are the things that guides it, that makes you think, can I ever know this person? Because sometimes you don't even want to say something. So they be like, I don't trust him. But when you tell them the truth, for example, I don't want to bring a lady into this now. Some ladies, you tell them this, they say this. You do this, they say this. You never know what they want.
You're treading on dodgy ground there, I think.
Exactly.
No, it's a good answer, if I may say. Good answer. What about you, Emmy? What's your position on this?
Yeah, well, I think there's a time and a place, for telling someone, and you've got to weigh up their mental capacity as well. You've got to weigh up what they can take, because some people are adults, but they've got the thinking ability of a child, and I don't mean that in an insulting way. It's just they just choose not to. as well. You know, you've got to weigh up what they can take. Because some people are adults, but they've got the thinking ability of a child. And I don't mean that in an insulting way. It's just they just choose not to grow up. And sometimes it's life-saving for them because sometimes you choose not to know something and you don't know it doesn't hurt you, doesn't harm you because you don't know it. But then if you choose to know it, then you have to deal with what comes with knowing it. And as such, I just think, there's a time and a place, and then there is you've got to weigh up, like I said, you've got to weigh up what the person can handle. You've got to then weigh up the person's background as well. You've got to say, well, what's this person's background? And because you don't want them getting the wrong end of the stick and thinking that you meant something else where, well, actually you don't. And so for me, I'd say it's a tough one actually, because I like to be open with people. But then I do withhold certain information until I get to know the sort of person that person is. Then I start to share a little bit more, and then I still weigh them up. Because at the end of the day, I'll give you an example. So I had a friend whom I call him like an uncle. He's called Derek Edmondson. It's passed now. He passed last year, I think. Yeah. But anyway, he went on he went his wife and himself, they went to some country in South America. I think it was Brazil. They went to do some work. Anyway, there was some friends, so they made some friends there, and they were just chatting. And they said to this guy, so he said, "Oh, then you want to have a drink?" He said, "Yeah, I like to have a drink every now and then." And this guy went spreading he didn't understand it. He said, "Well, Derek, he's a drunk," you know. And when the word got back to him, he was quite upset about it. He said, "I don't abuse alcohol. I only drink when I want to, really. And I know when to stop. So I don't know where he got that from, but it was the same. It was just a conversation. So as such, I like to just weigh people up and see what they can, what they would, what they understood, what the level of understanding. And then I can tell them. I can say, oh yeah. So, because for instance, I used to be a ladies man. I used to love ladies. I used to like to, admire ladies, take them out and stuff like that. Um, but I wouldn't say to certain people, because they think, he likes, he goes with many women, that sort of thing. And I'm not like that. So, you've got to just weigh up and know who you're talking to, know the capacity of, and actually know if there is somebody that, talks to people a lot about other people. So if they do, chances are they will say something or interpret something that you've said in an unpleasant way or in a way that you don't feel comfortable with. And as such, I like to just keep it a little bit on the safe side. Like Southamo said, he said safe mode, that sort of a thing. You go into a safe mode. Well, what can I divulge? What can I divulge to this guy, to this person? And on the women's side, which was what I was quite interested in when Southam decided getting into that. I thought, married men or men that are in a relationship with, I've been in relationships that in the past. You dare not say to a woman, you look fat in that, or it doesn't suit you what you're wearing, or you might want to change into something else. Whoa, you just have to go with it. And I don't
Yeah,
know
but
if
you'd
that,
hurt their feelings, wouldn't you?
yeah,
You'd really hurt their feelings. So
I know.
that wouldn't be a good idea.
Yeah, so I don't know if that's a blessing or a curse. And I've done it so many